Hey there, you just clicked on First Down Punts. Nice move. This is a podcast about football and how it relates to fantasy football. Hope you like what you hear. We're going to get this thing started. Let's get crazy. And welcome in, everyone, to another episode of First Down Punts. I'm your host, Coach Chris. Today we're going to be going over our final standings for every division and every team, as well as the playoff standings and predictions for who wins the Super Bowl. Want to go ahead and get this out. Next video, we're going to get into a lot of fantasy. This is our final thing about the schedules and predictions. A few things of note in the NFL. James Cook got paid. That's an excellent thing. Shedeur Sanders has an oblique injury. He looked pretty good in the preseason game. I'm going to give him credit. J.J. McCarthy was you know what I mean? Amarian Hampton didn't get any opportunities in game 2 after playing only a few snaps in game 1. He's basically the starter right now, with Najee just now getting back to working in individual drills. He's jogging on the sideline and stuff after that eye injury on the 4th of July. So definitely some things to look at. RJ Harvey looked good. Ted McMillan looked good. Tetaroa, T-Mac, whatever you want to call him, he looked good out there. I can tell you that much. But a few things to note in the schedules. I changed a couple of games. Minnesota actually picked up a win over Chicago earlier in the season, so their record changed from the original video prediction. Buffalo actually swapped games. They lost. I gave them a loss to Cincinnati and a win over the Eagles late in the season. Cincinnati obviously picked up a win, which will change the predictions when it comes to the playoffs. Originally, the Chargers made it at 9-8. But with the win for Cincinnati, they are going to end up being the 7th seed. We'll get into that. Or I'm sorry, they'll end up making the playoffs. They're actually moving to the 6th seed. But we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and get into these final predictions here. As you can see, Detroit wins the NFC North, 13-4. They actually picked up a win over the Rams late in the season. That was the other one I forgot about. Minnesota comes in second with that win over Chicago. They moved to 9-8 from 8-9. Green Bay stays at 8-9, and Chicago falls to 10-7, and the last team in the NFC North. The NFC East, Philly wins it at 12-5. After that loss to Buffalo, they dropped to 12-5. Washington is at 10-7. They stay the same. Dallas 7-10. They stayed the same, and the Giants finish at 3-14. They stayed the same. The NFC West. San Fran wins it at 11-6. The Rams actually dropped from 10-7 to 9-8 with that loss to Detroit later in the season. But with Stafford's back injury going on right now, who knows if he makes it through the season. It's definitely going to change my quarterback rankings and possibly wide receiver rankings for Puka and Devontae Adams. But Rams still come in second. That didn't change. Arizona finishes 7-10. Seattle 6-11. Those are both the same. In the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Bucks actually win because of I think it was a home field tiebreaker. They went 6-2 and Atlanta went 6-3. They had the extra game with the 17-game season now. But Tampa Bay wins the NFC South at 10-7. Atlanta comes in second at 10-7. Carolina finishes 6-11, and New Orleans finishes 3-14. Now, I think they could end up winning 4 or 5 games, but it was hard finding where it was. But teams always slip up against inferior teams, and the Saints could end up winning 4 or 5 games. I think Shuck is going to end up being a starter. I've already said that. He looked really good, he threw the pick 6, but the DB made a hell of a play. That's just all there is to it. And he came right back and dropped a 54-yard bomb. So it wasn't like he just fell apart when it happened. Like I said, I think he's a vet. It's going to be a rough start for the Saints. And over the course of the season, I think they're going to find out that Tyler Shuck is a good quarterback, and they might not need to draft one next year. So in the AFC, Baltimore wins the North at 13-4, 3-3 in the division. Cincinnati comes in second after getting that. Well, actually, they were already in second at 9-8, but their record changes 10-7 after picking up that win over Buffalo, and 4-2 in the division. Pittsburgh finishes at 7-10. Rodgers just doesn't have enough. Cleveland 6-11. I think Flacco's going to start the first half. Shedeur takes over in the second half. I've said that numerous times. Right now, with Shedeur's oblique injury, who knows what happens, but Flacco is the starter in my mind starting the season. So in AFC East, Buffalo wins at 13-4. Like I said, they lost one and they picked up a win later in the season. Their record stays the same. Their conference record, I think, changed. With the loss to Cincinnati, yeah, definitely did. But they finished 5-1 in the division, wrap up the AFC East again. The Jets come in second at 10-7. Told you guys I like the Jets a lot. They only finished 2-4 in the division, just tough division. Miami comes in at third at 7-10 and 3-3 in the division. And New England finishes 5-12, 2-4 in the division. At the AFC West, we talked about this when I did the video. Denver is winning the AFC West thanks to a sweep of the Chiefs this year. They went 2-0 against the Chiefs. If that changes, Chiefs probably win the division. But they come in at second at 12-5, so they're going to be a wild card team. The Chargers are 9-8, 4-2. Like I said, the record didn't change, but they were originally the 7 seed. Once Cincinnati picked up that extra win, Cincinnati actually moved into the 6th spot and moved the Jets to the 7th spot. So Las Vegas finishes it up at 9-8, same record, but a worse division record, so they finished 4th in the division. AFC South, Houston wins at 12-5. Jacksonville comes in at 6-11. Colts are 4-13. Tennessee's 3-14. Not a lot of faith in this division other than Houston, and I definitely think it's going to be an interesting situation with Houston being a good playoff team and hosting a playoff game. Let's go over and switch to our playoff seedings and predictions. Get that down. So, like I said, Detroit's the 1 seed in the NFC. They get the bye. Philly comes in at 2nd seed. Home field other than the NFC Championship game. San Fran, Tampa Bay, both getting home games that started off, winning the division. Washington will take on Tampa Bay. San Fran will take on Atlanta. Philly will take on the LA Rams. They still made the playoffs, even though they dropped the loss just because some of the other teams in the NFC aren't as good. In the AFC, Baltimore gets the bye week. Buffalo will take on the Jets, with the Jets falling to the 7th seed after Cincy made the playoffs. Houston takes on Cincinnati at home. And Denver hosts Kansas City for the 3rd game and possibly a 3-0 sweep on the season. As you can see, as we go through the predictions, I got Detroit hosting Atlanta. Atlanta gets the win over San Fran in the first round, but they are the 6th seed, so they got to travel to Detroit. Philly wins over the Rams, and Tampa Bay wins over Washington. Jaden Daniels gets an early exit this year. I'm a big fan of what the Bucs are doing. I honestly think they might end up going 11-6, maybe even 12-5, but it was just they got a tough schedule. So I think winning the division and hosting a game and actually getting a playoff win here is great for them. Second round or in the first round of the AFC, Buffalo takes on the Jets. I have Buffalo winning. Houston takes the win over Cincinnati. I think that defense is very impressive and could slow down Cincinnati's offense enough with Stroud and those young receivers, Nico Collins. Mixon's back by now. Maybe Chubb's got his legs under him, maybe not. Maybe they got the young kid, Woody Marks or Damian Pierce helping out. All the same, I think Houston's a really good team this year. They get the win. And Denver takes down Kansas City for the 3rd time this year in 2025. So in the second round, Buffalo is hosting Houston, and Baltimore is hosting Denver. As you can see, I got Denver taking down the Ravens coming off the bye week, similar to what happened to the Lions last year. Buffalo wins over Houston, and Buffalo will play Denver in the AFC Championship game. Detroit versus Atlanta. I got Detroit winning that. Tampa Bay versus Philly in the second round. I got Tampa Bay taking down the Eagles. The defending champs go down in the division round. Into the NFC Championship game, it's Detroit versus Tampa Bay. Both of these are really good teams. I think if Detroit's defense is healthy, they're going to the Super Bowl this year. That's all there is to it. I know they're changing offensive and defensive coordinators. Lost Ragnow. Ratledge is looking really good. Mahogany's looking good at left guard for them. So it looks like they're trying to fill those spots and keep that continuity going. But they're just a damn good team. They didn't go 15-2 on accident last year. And that was without a defense. Now, if their defensive parts are all healthy, they got a damn good chance to go to the Super Bowl to take on the Denver Broncos, who take down the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. And at the end of the day, I got the Detroit Lions winning their first Super Bowl in franchise history. They haven't won a championship since the 50s, and that was long before the Super Bowl started. Detroit is winning their first Super Bowl this year in 2025. Let's go Lions. That's all I got to say about that. I'm sure some of you think I'm being a homer, but I just think I think Tampa Bay's got a good chance to get to the Super Bowl. I don't know if Atlanta can. Philly could definitely get back if that defense holds up. Washington, they were a surprise team last year. I think they might take a step back this year. Like I said, I only got them 10-7. I think they went 12-5 last year. But And in the AFC, Buffalo and Baltimore could both make a run at the Super Bowl this year. But Denver's a surprise team for you guys to watch. And if you're not paying attention, man, they're going to shock you. So just something to look for, something I think could definitely happen. These are the 14 playoff teams. This is what I think is going to happen. Detroit's going to play the Broncos in the Super Bowl and get their first Super Bowl victory. Other than that, guys, I don't know how you feel about it. You probably may be laughing at me or something, but all the same, maybe the Bucs fans wanted to get there. Maybe those Eagles fans wanted to get back. The Bills and Ravens fans are begging for a chance at a Super Bowl, but I just think this is what's going to happen. So congrats to the Detroit Lions and the Denver Broncos on making the Super Bowl, and congrats to the Detroit Lions on winning the 2025 NFL Super Bowl championship, baby! Other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the show. As I always say, I hope you're having a good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching. Till next time, I'm out. First down, punts!